Hi, and welcome back to the Wicked Thrifter resale channel. And we're back. It's been a minute since we've been out thrifting. We actually have been out thrifting a lot. We just haven't been able to film a lot because we haven't been picking up a lot at the thrift stores. In this video, I do actually get some items. This was our first pickup, which was really fun to find. I never find them in sets like this, so I definitely grabbed them. They're $8.99 for each set. They already actually sold. I had to pare it down a little bit. On one of the sets, I took 2 of the bowls out because there were some major flaws, but they sold fast. These were some interesting bookends, little gargoyle style, but there was some broken chips on the horns and some pieces, so I left those behind. This might have been something to pick up. I've seen comps for ones that were made a little bit better than this. This felt a little cheap, so I ended up leaving it behind. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake. That does end up going back on the shelf. Here's some vintage or string art. It looked nicely done. They wanted $8.99, but I just wasn't sure. I haven't done enough research on this type of item to know if I should pick it up or not. Some chalkware. I'm trying to give you a better glimpse at the shelves. I'm trying to be more mindful of that when I'm shopping, but when you're there in the moment and it's busy, it's hard to stop and take your time. Trying to check out the bottom shelves there. And this is the figurine section. I don't often pick up many items in this area, but I still check it out because you never know. And some people put things back in random spots, so I always want to go down each aisle just to make sure. Some canisters, some more bookends, M&M thing down at the bottom. This was a little glass ornament of sorts. It wasn't Blanco, I don't believe, so I ended up leaving that behind. That Fusion art glass plate's still there. I ended up picking this up for myself. Initially, I thought maybe I would resell it, but the condition and such, it would need some TLC, so I chose to keep that. I scooped these up. They're little brass bell candlesticks. You can tell by the noise they make when they clink together. I also scooped up these Anchor nautical like wall hook set. They only wanted $4.99. This was a fun find. It's like a recipe card holder and a cookbook stand, but you could use it for multiple things. It was only $10.99, and generally these type of items sell well for me. Here I believe we're at another store, and I'm checking out the figurine section. That cat was missing the ball or ornament that it would hold in its hands. I was checking that glass piece to see if it was signed, and it was not. I put this in the cart for a brief minute. I ended up putting it back because there's some chipping around the ears that I didn't catch originally. And a lot of those type of items tend to sit for a long time in my store, so I don't tend to pick them up very often. There was a Jim Shore plaque piece down there, but those as well don't sell very fast for me, so I stayed away from it. And this obviously was handmade. It was only $4.99, and I wasn't sure if I should grab it, but it was pretty interesting. I wanted to get a closer look at it. I'm just scanning the shelves. Let me know if you see anything down in the comments below, anything that I might have missed. These houses I don't pick up very often. There's a few different makers. This, I think this was David Winters, but I'm not sure. But there's like Lilliput Lane and a few others. I didn't grab those. If they have the box, sometimes I'll pick them up just because they can sell decent with the box for sure. And not for a ton of money. This cat plate was cute. I don't know, there's not a ton. Here's some fish plates and a fish plaque. They looked more modern, so I left that. And this had some chipping on it, and it was a single. It was more modern, so I ended up leaving that behind as well. Little trinket dish or trinket box. And this little bird bowl actually was kind of nice, but it was Andrea. Was it Andrea by Sadek? I don't tend to usually pick those up very often. Maybe I should have looked it up. It might have been worthwhile, but I didn't at the time. There's some more of those houses, I believe. Not a ton on these shelves that I was interested in. A lot of this stuff has been there for weeks and weeks. And this is kind of the home goods, serving dishes and glassware section. They had some large pieces down there. I'm not really interested in shipping a lot of large items right now. Once upon a time, I picked up everything Francoma pottery, and I was pretty excited to find these initially, and then when I looked up the value of them and the length of time, like the sell-through rate, I ended up putting them back. They don't sell for a ton of money. And I think I have a lot of Francoma, personally, sitting on the shelves that haven't sold for a long time. I'm just trying to get a closer look at some of the items on this shelf here. I've had luck in the past here, so that's why I don't want to discount it and move on too fast. I do scoop this up and take this with me. It is $4.99 and it's a hand-carved giraffe. I don't usually find them in colorful patterns like this. Usually they're just like a standard brown, and it's from South Africa. So I do grab that, and then there's one other one on the shelf that I end up passing because it was missing, I don't know if they're called horns on the top, but it had some damage, so I put that back on the shelf. These are still at one of our Goodwills, and they want $12.99 a piece for those. I'm bummed. I really would like to grab them. Now these are Homeco, and normally I find the butterflies quite often, and I've never seen the hearts, at least in the box, maybe one or two here and there. So I grabbed them, but I probably should have left them behind. Something that I do take with that is a nice little pickup, little find, is one of those hand-carved ducks. It's actually a flying duck. They have it attached to one of the reeds there. It's handmade. They only wanted $4.99 for it. And then I also grabbed this lot of drawer pulls. They're those ceramic porcelain. They're more modern, so they're not very vintage, but they are in a desirable color, which is the black and white. Some of them are a blue and white pattern. So I grabbed them, I divided them up, and I actually put them into 3 different lots. So that'll be nice and easy to ship. This was a really fun find. Ethan Allen still sells really well. Sells really well for me, even though this is a larger piece and it's heavy. It goes for decent money, even including shipping. Not including shipping, but plus shipping. So that'll be a nice return once it sells, and I've had some interest in it already. Back in the glassware section, I'm always in this area. I'm getting pickier about what glassware I do pick up, but I have been pretty lucky and found a few glassy babies in the glassware section, so I will be looking there every time I go. These were a little spendy at $8.99. I had attempted to, and I initially was going to take them with, but being that they were $8.99, if they had been a little bit less, I might have, because the season's right. Wedding season's coming up, so keep that in mind when you're sourcing. These were some vintage fruit Christmas garland. I put them in the cart. And I ended up putting them back just because there was some damage on them that I didn't see. And when I looked up comps, I couldn't find that exact one. And I just didn't know if that was something someone was looking for. This is Department 56, I believe. I end up leaving that behind because I have a few similar pieces that haven't sold and I've had them for a while. They're starting to leave some of the Christmas stuff out year round. For a while there, they would pull it and put it back and they wouldn't have it out. This is just a small end cap and they've got some miscellaneous holiday stuff like Halloween, Christmas. There was like a resin, and initially I thought it was a carved wreath, but it's not. It's like a resin material. And that blown glass ornament there was more modern, so I ended up leaving it behind. Here's some more carved wood bowls. These don't sell very well for me either. I ended up leaving those behind. This is a candelabra or a candle holder, a centerpiece. I end up leaving that behind. Somebody's derby cars. Lots and lots of signs. Vintage shelves do fairly well for me, so that's why I'm looking in this section. I didn't find any on this trip. Here was a brass clock. It looked like a stopwatch or a larger pocket watch. Online they have some decent sell-through, but problem is I couldn't verify that that would work and I couldn't figure it out, so I left that behind. But I grabbed this art glass piece is actually signed. It does have more of a crude base. It wasn't polished, nice and clean, but I like the colors and it was only $10.99, so I thought I'd give it a shot. This was a disappointment. There was a big chip on the edge there, you'll see, but it was so nicely painted and it had an underplate to go with it. It would have been nice if that had been in good condition. I would have definitely grabbed that. I spotted this, and this is a handmade little angel for $8.99. It's signed by the artist. Kind of like slab art pottery, and I wasn't sure what the heck this was. It reminded me of something that you'd see on like Narnia. And this was some studio pottery. It's bakeware of some sort, but I don't know if this is like a covered bundt pan. It's got the hole all the way through the middle. And it's signed on the bottom, but my tureens and stuff like that aren't selling very well. This was a fun find. This is actually a collector coin display cabinet, and that was $29.99. There's a little bit of repair that needs to be done on it, but I'm up for it, and it can sell for $150 plus. The comps were all over the place on that. In this video, we might be hitting the same store a few times because this was over a couple of weeks of filming. And here you can tell the shelves are pretty sparse, and this is what I'm finding at a lot of the stores that I'm going to. There's not a ton on them. I spotted this. I liked the pattern, the little starburst or like puff pattern on there. And I liked the color that it was in. So I grabbed that at $10.99. And one of the stores that are near me, one of the Goodwills, is remodeling. They're going through that phase, and they had all the stuff pulled and put in these bins. So this is not the bins location. They're just taking things down and redoing the store. So little clear glass rabbit, but the base wasn't polished, and I'm not really picking up clear glass items right now. And the Easter section. I grabbed these. How often do I find those honey jars and they don't have the little sticks to go with them? So now I'm set. Now I am set. Some Easter mugs. Little egg tray there without the salt and peppers. Again, here's another view of the shelves. There's only a few things on a lot of them on each one. You'll go to a few stores where they're filled, but they're definitely cherry picking items, so it's harder and harder to find the good things. And I am definitely having to go to more to get the same number of items that I was getting before. I picked this up. It's not a huge sell. They do have it pretty high at $4.99, but I like to lot them together, or even if I just list that, it'll sell fairly fast if I price it right. As you can see, the shelves are pretty thin. They're not packed at all. I keep hoping that if I stare at the shelf long enough that I will find something. And this is the metal section. I thought this was pretty neat. This is going to be wrapping it up for us here. Not finding a ton out there, but I hope to be able to continue and find some stuff for you to keep putting out these videos. I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, drop them below. Otherwise, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.